Hey foodies! Today we're giving my original Gözleme tutorial a tasty twist. 3-in-1 flavors you've got to try. Mushroom and pepper, spinach and cheese, and halloumi and parsley. These Gözlemes are easy to make, tasty and perfect for any occasion. So let's get cooking and fill the kitchen with amazing smells. As always, I've listed on screen and in the video description all the ingredients you will need. In the meantime, if you enjoy Turkish cuisine and want more recipes like this one, consider subscribing so you don't miss what's coming next. You can also support me on Buy Me a Coffee if you enjoy my content, and check out the community tab to stay in touch, share ideas and chat about recipes. Let's get started with today's recipe. Making the dough first, add 20 grams of salt to 1 kilogram of flour. I've used self-raising, but plain flour can also be used. Mix in thoroughly, then making a well in the middle, pour in 650 ml of lukewarm water. Mix in with a wooden spoon first, then when you can't continue with the spoon, use your hands. Adding approximately 40 ml of olive oil to the dough now will help prevent it sticking to your hands and will help the dough remain soft and easier to roll out later. Knead for a few minutes. Your goal is to create a smooth, elastic and slightly soft dough that's easy to roll out thinly without tearing. Once you have that, cover and leave to rest whilst you prepare the fillings. Starting with the mushroom and pepper filling, which is the only one we will be pre-cooking, cut 170 grams of any mushrooms into an electric chopper if you have one, as this is the easiest way to prepare the veg. Blitz a few times until you have very small pieces, almost like a minced consistency. Empty into a large bowl, then do the same with 1 medium to large onion. Add the chopped onion to the bowl with the mushrooms. Then do the same with 1 capia pepper. However, this doesn't need to be as small as the mushrooms, so don't over blitz. You should, however, remove the seeds, and if you don't have a capia, then alternative peppers can also be used. Again, add the peppers to the bowl, and that's all we need for our first filling. We'll be adding some seasoning later. Gently mix to evenly distribute. Then put aside for later whilst we prepare our next filling. Next is the spinach and cheese filling. Cut 2 red or white onions into the chopper and again blitz into small pieces. You'll need approximately 200 grams of fresh spinach. I've used baby leaf spinach here. Rinse under cold water to remove any dirt, then scrunch the leaves by hand to help reduce its volume and make it easier to mix in the other ingredients. Add the chopped onions and approximately 80 grams of grated cheese of your choice. I've used helim or halloumi. Then mix everything together by using either 2 spoons like this or use your hands. Whichever method you use, ensure you mix gently, keeping the leaves mostly intact, and avoid over squeezing as this will produce too much liquid. Then add the seasoning. I've added 1 dessert spoon of sweet basil, salt and some black pepper. Adjust according to your taste. Give it one last mix before putting it aside as we move on to the final and easiest filling we'll be making today. This helim or halloumi and parsley filling is simple but very satisfying, as the 2 ingredients complement each other perfectly, producing outstanding flavour. You may also use feta cheese as an alternative to the helim. Use a generous amount of parsley, which should be washed and finely chopped, removing any thick stems from the bunch. Add to a bowl with approximately 170 grams of grated helim or feta cheese. Now, depending on the salt content of the cheese you are using, adjust by adding more only if necessary. If you want to add some heat, add a sprinkle of chilli flakes here or other pepper of your choice. Then mix it up so all the flavors are evenly distributed. Let's move on to cooking the mushroom and pepper filling now. Heat a few tablespoons of olive oil in a non-stick pan. When the oil is hot, add the mushroom mixture to the pan and saute on high heat, stirring continuously. The water will release and then evaporate. That's when the mushrooms will start caramelizing, producing a delicious sweet earthy taste with a mild fruity pepper kick. Add seasoning of your choice. I've added garlic powder, black pepper and salt. Adjust to your taste. Once all the water has evaporated and you have sauteed for a few more minutes, turn off the heat. Transfer to a flat dish or plate and allow it to cool. It will need to be completely cooled down before we can use it with the pastry. Spreading it out like this will speed up the cooling process. All three of our scrumptious fillings are ready: mushroom and pepper, spinach and cheese, and helim and parsley. Now it's time to turn them into some seriously delicious gözleme. Start by lightly flouring a clean surface. Turn out the rested dough onto the surface and gently work into a rectangular shape. The dough should be soft and easily pliable by now. Once you have a roughly rectangular shape, cut the dough into 2 equal pieces, as we'll be working with one piece at a time. Put one piece back into the bowl and keep covered to avoid drying. With the piece we're working with, again form a rectangular shape, flouring the surface as necessary to avoid sticking. Cut the dough in the middle, then divide into equal parts. The size of the gözlemes you'll be making should depend on the pan that you will be using, so cut accordingly. As a general guide, for a small pan you'll need golf ball size pieces, for a medium pan aim for tennis ball sizes, and for a large pan slightly bigger than tennis ball size. I'll put the measurement of the pan I'm going to be using in the video description. So what I'm doing here is tucking each piece into a ball and putting them under a plastic sheet to keep them fresh as I go along. Repeating the process for the second half of the dough, I was able to make 15 tennis ball sizes to go with my medium to large pan. Working with one dough ball at a time, roll out to approximately 1 mm thickness, flouring generously to avoid sticking. Working from the center outwards, turn the dough regularly and aim for even thickness throughout. For gözleme, the shape and thickness is crucial and should ideally be round or slightly oval, and thin enough to cook quickly on a hot pan. Once you're happy with the thickness, shake off any excess flour as shown. Be gentle not to lose the shape in the process. Then it's time to add our delicious filling. Spread evenly over one half of the dough, leaving a small gap at the edge. Don't overfill, but add enough so you get a good taste of the filling with every bite. The key is to keep the gözleme flat. Then fold the other half over and gently press to seal. If you have excess pastry at the edges, trim them off carefully and save to use later. Using the same method, make 2 to 3 more before we start the cooking, and I'll show you the other fillings. Here's the fresh tender spinach with that delicious helim. Using raw spinach preserves its freshness and flavour whilst ensuring the pastry stays crisp as the leaves wilt perfectly during cooking. And here is our earthy savoury mushroom filling with a hint of sweetness from the added peppers. This one is perfect as a meat substitute, and when finely minced like this, it even has the texture of minced meat, packed with flavour and super satisfying. The perfect meat substitute for gözleme. Now we have a few to be getting on with. Heat up your pan to medium heat and remember to keep all the pastry covered so they don't dry out. When the pan is hot, place the gözleme in, leaving a gap in between. Cook for about 2 to 3 minutes each side, flipping and checking them regularly. Keeping them dry like this works, or you can butter them up on both sides for a flavour boost and a softer bite. This is down to your preference. Whilst the first batch is cooking, keep an eye on it, flipping when necessary. At the same time, start preparing your next batch. That way you keep the process flowing smoothly. It's about timing and staying organised. As the gözlemes turn a golden brown, remove onto a nearby wire rack. Just a quick tip, wipe your pan with a dry towel now and then, removing any loose flour which will burn fast if left. This will help keep your gözleme perfectly golden. Also cover the cooked gözleme with a clean towel to keep them nice and soft. Keep going until you have used up all the dough and filling. You may even get a bonus gözleme from the dough trimmings. And that's how you make these golden, crispy, utterly delicious gözleme. From soft fresh dough to your choice of flavorful fillings, it's simple, fun and so satisfying. Thank you for cooking along. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss a tasty recipe. See you in the next one.